episode of The Proud Skill Worker. Today, we actually have an opportunity to interview Kevin. He's one of the senior recruiters here at SkillWork. The goal for this is to really get an idea of what Kevin sees on the front side of recruiting. So what is it like to bring a skill worker on board, to bring someone from the skilled trades on board? So we'll do a little mini series with a few recruiters in-house about recruiting the skilled trades in conjunction with the skills of maintenance that we're doing on the other side. So Kevin, thanks so much for being on today. I know you've got a busy day. I know your desk is full, but tell us a little bit about your story, how you came to SkillWork, and why the skilled trades.
Yeah, thanks for having me. A little of my story. Recently moved here about 2 years ago to the area where SkillWork headquarters is. Found myself needing a job after about a career of about 7 years working in the corporate world. Saw a lot of different opportunities, interviewed at a lot of different places, so I can definitely identify with my candidates on that side of things. Interviewing is like a full-time job in itself, but SkillWork really stood out to me as an opportunity to really help people and impact people's lives as they try to find ways to help themselves. Yeah, the culture and the things like that I got to experience really drew me in, and I came in, and the idea of skilled trades and that type of thing. I come from a blue collar background. A lot of the guys in my family were farmers and ranchers and things of that nature. And so, that's an industry and a type of person that I really feel like I connect with and want to be involved with.
I love it. So 2 years you've been with SkillWork now. You said previously left kind of a corporate gig 7 years before that, or for the previous 7 years. What do you think has been the biggest challenge, kind of getting into recruiting, but also recruiting in the trades? What do you think that's been that biggest challenge?
I would say the biggest challenge is just learning and trying to understand what clients want and then what candidates want as well. To step into an industry that I've never personally worked in and just expect to be like an automatic expert or know everything is really naive. And there's a pretty big learning curve. The trades we work with primarily, like smart people do these jobs. Like this is not something you can step in and day one be able to just like run with and be awesome at. And so I think for me, it's taken a lot of time and study and just really like digging in and trying to understand how both sides of our company work and how we can connect them well. That's got to be my hardest challenge.
Love it. So you talked about, knowing what the candidate wants. Talk to me about how you go through the process with a candidate to find out what they want and then also where they fit, because as you said, finding out the client's needs. So how do you go through that process? What does it look like from start to finish? Person calls Kevin or Kevin calls someone, start to finish. And how do you run that? What's your standard operating?
Yeah, so we have several people that apply to us. We get a pretty large amount of applicants on a daily basis. So the process for me starts with the resume. I'm looking into that. I spend anywhere from 10 to sometimes 20 minutes on a resume before I even call a candidate. I'm reading into where have you been? What have you been doing? Did you go to school? How long were you in school? How long have you been in each of your various locations that you've worked at? What skills have you listed as something that you're good at? So I want to at least have an idea of who you are before I ever even, pick up the phone and call you. From there, it's making a phone call. If I'm blessed enough for a candidate to answer on the first try, we get into who we are at SkillWork. I think it's really important to not hide anything or hold anything back about who we are and what we're doing, and give the candidate an opportunity to respond. Is this something you want to do? This is primarily a travel-based opportunity in the skilled trades. One is that, I wouldn't be calling you if I didn't know that that's your background. But two, do you want to travel? Do you want, or where are you located in the sense that maybe I have opportunities for you? And then from there, it's digging in more into their background, their skills, their experience, and understanding, are they a fit for us and are we a fit for them? I want to ask as many questions and give as many opportunities for them to let me know this is not going to be a good fit. So that we can both just take care of each other's time and be respectful of one another. Yeah, and then from there, we're moving forward. We have testing and we have other steps in the process moving forward from there.
I love it. So on that front side, you talk a lot about that, but I'd be curious to know, what do you think is the largest barrier for entry, or what do you think, which portion of what you do is the place where most people fail to move forward? Say you get 100 applicants, where do the majority of them end up stopping in Kevin's process or getting stuck in Kevin's process, or like what hangs them up the most?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably a bit cliche, and this isn't really necessarily unique to our industry, but it's skills. Are you actually a fit for the job you're applying to? It's surprising how many people apply to jobs they're not fit for, and so that's probably the easy answer. But if it is a person who is skilled, let's play that role. I think the most common thing that people get knocked out for is just their willingness to buy into what we're doing. This takes a unique set of circumstances to make sense and be a good fit. What are your at-home responsibilities? What are your capabilities and capacity for traveling? Can you be on the road for 3 months or 6 months at a time? Like, we have to be able to definitively answer that question with a yes. Otherwise, we're just not doing one another a service, and you're going to get into a situation that you're not equipped for. So that's probably the first thing that knocks the most people out.
I love it. So it's interesting. You talk about, the trades, and talk about how intelligent and how high the mechanical aptitude is of the people who are coming into these roles, and how it's not what it was written off to be 10, 12, 15 years ago, of like anybody can just go do X trade. And that narrative is shifting, right? We're seeing that shift in the country, but it takes a little bit of time to catch up. But I'm curious to know, as you've kind of embedded yourself into the culture of the trades, as you said, you kind of came in from above, parachuted in, had to learn it all, teach yourself, just drinking through a fire hose for a while. But how has your appreciation for the trades grown kind of in your daily interactions with these people?
Yeah, I would say tenfold. I was even having a conversation with a candidate literally this morning about this very subject. And he was like an old timer who's seen it all. And, he was talking to me about how, when I came up into the trades and I became an electrician, I was proud of that. I told people, I'm a skilled tradesman. I have a skill. He even said, I have a skill and you don't. He's like, that's my perspective. And I was like, it's really sad, because I think that been lost. And like you said, we're regaining it. But I think that's a perspective that's really been lost through the generations of, people maybe looked at a little like a second-rate citizen of sorts, or someone that isn't as intelligent because they chose to go into a trade versus going to, college and doing some sort of a white-collar job. So yeah, for me, having these conversations with these guys and hearing their hearts and hearing their aspirations and their goals, it's really changed a lot of my, I guess, person-to-person experience with tradesmen and the skilled trades for the better.
And I'm the same way, right? So I came to SkillWork 4 years ago. I understood the trades, grew up in a blue collar family. My dad was in the Marine Corps, did pipe fitter work, ended up at the railroad, and kind of worked his way up. So I understood it. But being here and talking to these individuals and understanding just the day-to-day life and the stressors and all of those things, they just seem to hit different for the blue collar industry versus white collar, more what we're doing, or in our case, gray or purple collar. But I think it's fascinating to hear your take on the industry as it's grown and developed and as we kind of pivot. So one thing I want to turn over to you, and I do this for everybody who's on the show, Kevin, but if you could say one thing to everybody who's either actively looking for a job, actively dissatisfied in their current career, or maybe even just passively waiting for an opportunity that's the best, what would you say to those people about, hey, what's the next step for them? What do they need to do? What do they need to work on the most in order to make a career change or a life change or improve where they're at? What's the thing you would say?
Yeah, I think figure out what you want. Be definitive and soul search and look into what actually do you enjoy and what's something that's going to get you up in the morning and get you excited to go to work. We spend so much of our lives working and earning so that we can do the other things in life that we enjoy. It's such a waste to not enjoy that huge portion, that 40 hours minimum a week that you're working and doing and living. So find what you're looking for, what you like, and then educate yourself. Try to figure out ways to be the best at that you can possibly be. And then from there, it's identify a location that you can actually do that with. And then just on as So a person who talks to people who are applying to jobs, be a good communicator. If you're not a good communicator, figure out how to be a good communicator. Like, learn how to talk to people and how to express what you want and what you need in an effective way. Like, that's the most important thing that I could just offer anyone that's going through our process or going through the process of getting a job. Learn how to talk to people and be willing to say what you want and what you need. Because if you wait till the very end of that process to actually be honest, like, it's just too late. Mm-hmm. So start out there. Like, you're going to do yourself and everyone else a huge favor.
I love it. I think that question in itself is a deep question, but it's one that has layers to it, right? What do you want? And like, at what layer do you finally answer the question honestly? Because if you answer it right up front, likelihood of getting there, pretty high. Late in the game, pretty low. So, Kevin, opportunity for a shameless plug. Do you want to throw your number out to any of the skilled laborers, anybody who could potentially reach out to you if they're looking to make a career change, anything like that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, hey, you can find me on the website, skillwork.com. I'm in there. My email, kevin.robertson@skillwork.com. If I'm plugging me, I want to genuinely say that, hey, I'll do everything I can to help somebody that is serious about wanting to help themselves. Whether that's you have 0 experience or you have 30 years, I want to help people be the best they can be. I think SkillWork is a great vehicle to do that. I work hard for the people that I work with, so I hope they're out there and they'll attest to that.
It's true, he does. I will attest to that on this end too. A huge thank you, Kevin, to being on the show. I know you got a lot of other things going on. I know you got work coming out of your ears and hair coming out of your head. But thanks so much for being on the show. For those of you who have questions for Kevin, or you want to reach out, or you want to have a conversation, either leave a comment below, go to skillwork.com, grab his desk number there, give him a shout, shoot him an email. He'd be happy to talk to you and kind of look at what the options are moving forward through SkillWork, another avenue, whatever he needs to do to kind of move you forward, as he said. But thanks so much for being on the show, and we'll see you guys next week. Thanks.